What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here alongside Josh Davis. It is Wednesday. It is time for the Wednesday Linc Live, coming to you every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, letting people go ahead and pour on in. Josh, good evening. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. It's been a long week. It's only Wednesday, but fun to go ahead and, to break away from the real world and talk about the Birds a little bit here, who, listen, a lot of them in front of the media. We'll talk about that here to go ahead and start. A lot of people saying they want to improve on what was already a near perfect 2022 campaign. I love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I know it's interesting because it's always great to get, the responses of the players and they had the interviews and I wasn't sure who was going to be speaking today. Maybe I just missed the announcement of like, hey, these are all the players, but it's like I'm watching on Twitter and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's Tanny and here's Dallas Goedert and AJ Brown and Jason Kelsey, just
Right.
one after another after another. But yeah, it's awesome to see kind of the expectations, but it's interesting that you start to see kind of, I don't know, really the tone, I guess, being set with Jalen Hurts is like how his mantra is and what he
Yes.
says, the entire team starts to buy in. And so I loved really Jason Kelsey's response when he's kind of like, they ask him, hey, do you see anything different about Jalen now that he's obviously got the money? And he's like, nope, not really. He's like, I mean, I guess aside from the aura of commas, which, kind of poking fun, obviously, at the massive deal that he got. But yeah, I think that anytime your leader, and Dallas Goedert spoke to it too, is saying, anytime that your leader is a guy who has that much drive to win, we all want to like show up even more, like not only for ourselves, but for that guy. And so for that one to be Jalen Hurts, I'm all for it. But yeah, the motivation, the determination, we're just getting started. I mean, obviously tons of time even until training camp,
Yeah.
but it gets me excited. You have all these sound bites, all these clips and everything else. I'm pumped. I can't wait.
Excited just like you are. A lot of people joining us right now. Welcome in Cool Rains. Alfonso Gudia is in here. NZ Philly fans, just shout out the Linc. Ohana means family. Robert, David
What's
Moore
up?
is in there. Tariq Shell. A lot of guys go ahead and climbing their way in. Hit the thumbs up button as you guys come in here. A lot to talk about tonight, even though, of course, we are in the heat of the offseason. Andrea jumping in here, saying that she loves us, has the best content. Andrea, we appreciate you. I was very surprised
Thank
going
you.
back to the press conferences today, the amount of people who said they want to improve on something. And it wasn't just like, yeah, I want to be a better player. AJ Brown talked about how he needs to become the complete receiver. Most of us would assume he already is. Dallas Goedert said he wants to improve his route running, which I thought was fascinating. I thought he was one of the better route runners in the entire National Football League. So it seems like they have goals in mind in order to not just win, but to get better while they're doing it. And like you said, it probably is a big reason why they all love Jalen Hurts so much, because, Hurts is in there after getting, 179 million guaranteed. That money will for sure hit his bank account. He's been grinding this year. And like we talked about a couple of shows ago, he's been at the Linc, at the NovaCare complex, really all off season long. You wonder if he's even had any sort of legit real vacation. I'm sure he has, but still, the guys are grinding, and it's incredible. Tyler just mentioned AJ Brown wants to be faster. Like, how can that guy get any better as a receiver? Yet he wants to. It's unbelievable.
Set the franchise record, and you know what? That's not good enough. But that's the mentality you have to have. So I'm with you on that. Yeah, it's exciting to see it, and it was cool too because anytime you got players that are bragging on each other, they're not talking about themselves. That's always a unique aspect to it, and I love the camaraderie around it. But it seemed like AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert were kind of alluding to the fact that like they're trying to pick up some pieces from Devontae Smith's route running. Like they're like, hey, we were seeing some highlights just from this past session here, and like the things that he does are phenomenal. So I mean, yes, the sky is the limit for all of these players. But Devontae Smith just had a fantastic season. If I'm going to pick a player right now who's going to surpass his performance, I think he's at the top of the list. I think that he's going to continue to get better and make ridiculous strides. We've seen what he can do with, obviously his crazy catches and his ability to kind of the range that he has. Yeah. But you talk about the route running. I mean, if you've got guys like AJ Brown, like Dallas Goedert, that are saying, hey, we want to copy his route running, and that kind of speaks for itself. So yeah, I'm with you though. The mentality, the aspect, how does AJ Brown get faster? I don't know. I'd love to know that secret. If he can, then maybe I could look into that, because be able to somehow make yourself faster after you've been in the league for several years, like that'd be great. I'm all for it, but I think he's already dangerous enough. That'd be nuts if he gets faster.
We don't talk about the fact Devontae Smith's just going into year 3. I mean, year 1, you saw flashes. Year 2, he already was one of the most, one of the best route runners in the league, elite receiver. And now you go into year 3. Think the Justin Jefferson jump from year 2 to year 3 was massive. I mean, it could be really, really big for Devontae Smith. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tyler says he was hurt during the Steelers game, or so hurt during the Steelers game. Michael Thomas says the culture on the Eagles has changed. The other players want to play for this team now. I don't think players didn't ever not want to play for the Eagles, but I think the mentality and the culture is very different. I mean, even think back to the 2017 team. They didn't really gel until the end of the season, or at least outwardly, right? Like going into training camp was like, okay, what do we have here? We didn't even really know. We had some veteran presence on there. We had some young guys, but there didn't feel like this whole big camaraderie. What the Eagles were able to do, and not just keeping everybody from last season, almost everybody, but then keeping the older guys. Jalen Hurts gets the extension. The camaraderie already feels like it's there, and that's what most Super Bowl teams seemingly have. They have a super close, tight-knit group. But the teams that aren't, it's almost very noticeable in the fact that people don't hang out with each other. They don't post with each other on social media. You don't see them getting dinner or riding around in cars together or talking in the locker rooms, and those teams don't perform well. So it's a small factor, but it's a factor nonetheless, and I'm pretty darn excited about it.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with that. I mean, yeah, it's like the teams that play well, they all obviously have the chemistry. So to see them outside of just the regular practices and the games and everything else to hang out, it makes a difference. And like you brought up too, in 2017, I think we all remember, it's like, okay, that season obviously became great and legendary, right. But it's like, okay, it's easy to have chemistry when you're winning, right? Like when you get to the pinnacle of success, it's easy to say, oh, this team's awesome, we love it. But like, what happened right after that, right? Like we saw a lot of rumors and speculations and reports of either good teammates or mostly bad teammates, so not to name names there, but it's like that cancer grew very quickly around the team. And so you start getting, okay, should this player be here? Should we get rid of him? And so yes, adversity will be kind of the true test of that. If this team, let's say, I don't think in the early part of the schedule, we're going to have some difficulty, but that 5 or 6 game stretch towards the middle, if you start losing some games, then the litmus test will be, okay, how great is this team in terms of being able to face that adversity and the collaboration that we have? But I do think this team is different. I think you'd probably agree with me. A lot of people would, because of Jalen Hurts. I mean, it starts with him at the very front of it. And so I'm excited to see it. I'm telling you though, like this group, this squad, like the way they talk about each other, I know we've mentioned it several times here, but it gets me excited because of the passion and the motivation that they have. And I'd be curious to know what you think, but I don't think if they do run into some adversity, let's say in the middle of the season, you lose 2-3 games in a row, I don't think that derails him. Like Jalen's been through too much. He's kind of that centerpiece, but I don't think the other guys are going to be thinking that either. I mean, they love each other. They want to play with each other. Granted, I don't think Devontae Smith plays with AJ Brown on Call of Duty. He made a mention of that. So you played with Devontae, didn't you? You played Call of Duty?
Or was it? Not with Devontae. I played with he was a practice squad corner. Oh, what was his name?
Oh, okay. I knew there was a player because you were like, hey, he tweeted or something, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump on. So okay.
I did play with an Eagle player last like the week before training camp last year. I just forget his name. Yeah, he's no longer an Eagle. He was let go mid-season. He was a practice squad guy. Anyway,
apparently Devontae's at upper echelon. He won't play with AJ Brown yet, but whatever that's about. But no, I think there's a lot of chemistry. But what do you think? Like if we run, I know it's a hypothetical game, but that's what we do in the offseason. Let's say they face some adversity. Do you see this team, like, how are they going to handle it? Are there any concerns? Do you have any concerns?
Well, I think if there are concerns, it's the fact they haven't had adversity, at least this core group. I mean, you can talk about 2 years ago, but 2 years ago, they didn't have A.J. Brown. They didn't have all these new pieces. There's Devontae Smith year one. They didn't have Jalen Hurts. I mean, Hurts was a completely different person 2 years ago than last year. And they haven't had a stretch where they lost multiple games. You can make the argument after the Bears game when Hurts had the shoulder injury, there was some adversity, but they still, they beat the Jets and they played pretty good football. Minus, what was it, the Saints game whenever they looked bad? That was like the one game where you went, okay, this is odd. Yeah. But let's just say that they do go on a little bit of a stretch here. I mean, let's just throw the schedule up on the screen. We know where the stretch is going to be later on in the season. But what if there's a little bit of struggle week 5 through 9, right? Because these aren't bad football teams. The Rams might not be the Rams from 2 Super Bowls ago, but the Rams are not a bad team. That's going to be on the road after playing a divisional opponent. There could be some adversity there. You come back, you play the Jets. The Jets are either going to be insanely good or they're going to have growing pains. By week 6, what are those growing pains going to be? Are they going to be resolved? Are they going to be still going? I don't know. Then you play Miami. That's a tough football game. That's prime time on NBC. Then you go to Washington. Historically, they at least have weapons. Talk about Terry McLaurin and, Sam Howell week 8. Is he going to be good or not? I don't know. And you finish against Dallas. There's a scenario here where your adversity comes very early And I'm going to be fascinated to see how they react because they didn't really deal with it this past season. Now, like I said, there were spurts. You can argue the Super Bowl when they blew a 10-point lead after halftime. Then they came back to tie the football game. But it will be very interesting to see what this team would look like if they were to lose 2 games in a row, something they essentially have not done in a full calendar year. And it will be, longer than that by the time we get to this point. I think they'll be able to handle it well, but it is a litmus test that we don't know yet because they were just so darn good last year and beat everybody's brakes off.
That's true. Yep. They were phenomenal. I mean, and what Jalen was last season 16-2 or something like that. The Eagles were when he was on the field. So yeah, there's not much adversity whenever you have 2 losses there. But yeah, I agree. I think we'll be surprised in terms of the schedule. Like there might be a slip up or a loss to teams kind of like really like we just lost that game. But I think, to your point, it's like, okay, the earlier part is important because you got to get out on the right foot because then the schedule just gets tougher and tougher. But I agree. I think that even though we haven't seen it, it will be the true litmus test. There's something about this team. There's an aura. There's a difference around them. And yes, we go back to Jalen Hurts, but everyone, like, look at every single interview you hear, and not even from like the veteran players, sure, because they're going to be bought in, and the coaches and the staff, the people that have been there for a long time. But look at the rookies that have been drafted. Like all the sound bites we're getting from these guys, they all have that same central theme. It's like team first. Before anything else, it's team first. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to win today. Don't look ahead. Forget about tomorrow, what Nick preaches all the time, and win today. And that's it. And so I think that is one of the biggest differences for this team and why I'm not really concerned, to be honest. I think that they'll be able to be just fine. If they face some adversity, I think they're great.
You do see that with rookies that good at football teams that could win a Super Bowl that year, their whole mindset does change. Like if you're a rookie and you're drafted to the Texans, or you're a rookie and you're drafted to the Browns, or a team that is very clearly not going to compete, it's a little more me-centered because you're trying to, figure out the league and get your feet wet and trying to get that next contract already. It's very important to figure out, acclimate to the National Football League. But then you see guys like Sidney Brown, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. They understand that, one, there are a absolutely ton of really, really good players on this football team. There's no guarantee that they're even going to get to play, even though we know that Carter and Smith and Sidney Brown will play. But they have all these veterans they have to beat out. But they also realize that they have a chance to win a Super Bowl, like right now, and be a part of that. And winning a Super Bowl goes a long way towards you getting that next contract, or you becoming the starter in 2024, something like that. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And I think it's fascinating, like you said, watching these guys, at least so far. Now we get to training camp. It starts to get hard. The pads go on. I mean, working out in that hot Philadelphia weather in late July, early August, it's gonna be different kind of, gravy out there for some of these rookies. But so far, it's been really, really good stuff. I do want to mention here really quickly, Vanny jumping in with the super chat. Shout out Vanny. He says, appreciate you spooning with wife and bailed on her to watch Tom Selleck and Nick Foles live. Is that who we look like? You bailed on the wife.
So that's
Nick Foles is not a bad one for you. I assume that you're Nick Foles and I'm Tom Selleck. That's my assumption here.
All right, I'll take it. Sure, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Yeah, we appreciate that, Vanny.
Hey, Vandy's got 4 or 5 entries into our ticket giveaway here. If you've not seen this yet, we're doing a brand new giveaway. We obviously did the jersey giveaway, gave away 3 of them. Now we're giving away 2 Eagles tickets to a game of your choice. We're going to give that out towards the end of preseason. We'll announce whenever that is. But each entry you do, Josh is going to put it in. Each dollar is 1 entry, and then we're going to spin the wheels and give the tickets away. So 5 entries here for Vanny, and it's a game of your choice. You can kind of decide which regular season game you want to go ahead and go to. Boy, I don't know if my girlfriend would be happy if we were hanging out together, hanging on the couch, and then my favorite YouTubers came on, and I just said, peace out, Paige. She would not take it very well, but Vanny, we appreciate you. You're a real one right there. Really appreciate you.
We do appreciate that. That's great.
Let's see. Michael Thomas says, do you think the Eagles address linebacker now or wait until closer to training camp? I actually talked about this on my show today. I think it was today or yesterday. I don't know. The shows all kind of run together. I think it was today. And essentially what I said is they're not going to look at linebacker, in my opinion, until training camp. And I think right now, if you were to ask Howie Roseman what's going on here, they love Nicholas Morrow. They think he's going to be a starter, and they think Nakobe Dean's going to be the other starters. ESPN shows here. If you get to training camp and Morrow and Dean are not the guys, or only one is good and the other is not that good, and there's no Sean Bradley or Davion Taylor stepping up, then you make a call to Myles Jack. Then you make a call for a trade about Isaiah Simmons or Patrick Queen. That's only if These guys are so bad that you have to make a move. It's the exact same situation as Philadelphia had this past season with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I'm convinced they got to training camp. They looked at their safety situation and they said, Reed Blankenship is not ready. He might be later on in the year. Kayvon Wallace, he ain't it. We got to go get somebody, and they made a move. So I think they like linebacker, but they're going to wait and make sure, and they're going to find out in training camp before they make a move. I don't think it makes sense to sign Myles Jack right now. I'd be fine with it. We all talked about it yesterday, but I don't think it's going to happen right now.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think there's going to be a signing. I think there's going to be multiple signings, and relatively big names. I don't know if it's going to be giant, depending on where you even think Myles Jack falls in that category. I think that he's got something left in the tank, but still, to what extent? It's like, okay, he's kind of been on the decline a little bit, but I do think there's going to be a couple other signings. But to your point, yeah, you kind of wait. You want to see what you got, and training camp's the best situation for it. The beauty is the Eagles have plenty of room in the cap space, and that's exactly where Howie wants to be, because he can just go ahead and pounce whenever he needs to if he's like, oh yeah, you know what? One of these linebackers is not it, and we need to go get another player. But right now, I mean, I've said it on a couple of shows as well. It's like, I'm excited to see this squad, what we've already got. Like, you may be solid. I'm not saying it wouldn't be great to add some other players. And I think that Ndamukong Suh, if I had to guess, is just about a lock to be back to the Eagles. So I know he said, like, hey, I'm not going to be there till week 1, but week 1 I will be ready, or, I'm not going to do the training camp. But it's like, it feels like, and as much as he was saying how much he loves the Eagles and his interviews and everything, it feels like he's going to be an Eagle. So it's like, you have a player like that. This squad right now, though, like, think back to, I guess, the beginning of the offseason, right? Like, or whenever free agency just hit. Yeah. It's like everyone's saying, like, oh, the Eagles are losing all these players. The defense is not going to be anything close to what it was. Now, again, there's been a lot of things happen with free agency and the draft, but I really believe with Sean Desai and being able to move these playmakers around, I think that we could have as good, if not better, season on the defensive side of the ball. I think that it's a little bit kind of going under the radar, not completely, because we did fantastic in the draft and all the pieces that we've added. Right. But I can't wait. Like, I think expectation-wise, this defense is going to be just fine, if not better. I mean, I'm curious to know what you think, but after hearing Sean Desai too, like, I'm totally bought in.
Well, where are they worse, or where are they worse than 2022? Or sorry, 2023. No, it is 2022. I can't think. They're better on the defensive line. I mean, you can make the argument that healthy Jordan Davis plus Jalen Carter can give you what Javon Hargrave did, and if it's not, better, it's the same. So they're at least the same. But now they add Nolan Smith as a pass rusher, and Derek Barnett comes back. So the overall defensive line should be better than what it was this past season. Might not be overall sack number better, just because they had an insane amount of sacks and they played some pretty bad offensive lines mixed in there too. But it's as good. Linebacker, you can make the argument it's worse, but you don't know what you have yet, right? So you can make the argument that TJ Edwards, obviously a better player because you're white, pretty good tackler in the open field, but we don't know yet. They're the same at cornerback, the exact same at cornerback. It'll be the exact same 3 guys, plus some people that they obviously brought in. Zach McPherson, you're, 3 at this point? And then at safety, it's technically worse, but how much worse, right? I mean, it's basically going to be Blankenship and Edmonds, unless Sidney Brown could go ahead and start. Who knows? So the expectation should be very, very high. If they don't play such a vanilla style of defense, then maybe it'll be even better just based off of that. I really don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I'm excited to see it. I think Ohana Means Family said, what is the training camp battle you guys are most interested in watching? I can't wait for a safety battle. So I'm sorry if we passed some of the comments, but that's right on topic. So that's why I brought it up. But yeah, I think that's it. I really do, because you just went over it, the list of players. Like, if you want to make the argument where the Eagles might be weaker, it's the safety position. But like, we don't know, because there's still players that are going to be battling out for that position. And Sidney Brown, like, I know he's a rookie and I know there's a lot to prove, and safety is one of those positions where it's kind of like, yeah, maybe he needs a year to kind of learn the NFL game, get caught up to speed, but maybe not. Maybe he could just come in from year 1. But I'm just telling you, like, from the interviews and everything that he's been saying, he approaches it the right way. He's not even like, oh yeah, there's a safety starting spot up for grabs. It's, no, what do I do each and every day to get better? So maybe he's the guy. But I mean, obviously, yeah, you've still got guys that have been signed, like a Terrell Edmonds, who has been serviceable, or probably better than serviceable. So, what are you expecting from him? But also curious to see how Desai moves those safeties around, because
from everything that I've seen, is like he disguises looks so much. You might get a safety who all of a sudden is kind of a hybrid linebacker, but Nicholas Morrow played safety in college. So do you have some weird looks where he has nuances just kind of completely confusing the quarterback? That's the part that I can't wait to see, is because you've got a lot of these playmakers, these hybrid safety / linebackers that you can move around at a bunch of different spots. And I think you can't have too many playmakers on the field. So, that is one that I'm very excited about. But yeah, probably safety. If I had to go with picking the top positional battle that I'm looking forward to, there's a couple others, but that would probably be the one that I would say. What about you though?
Safety is definitely the most impactful position battle because it's the one where people are actually going to start. The rest of the position battles, it seemingly has the starters already laid out. You make an argument, how much is Jalen Carter going to play based on battling with some of the other rotational defensive linemen that are in there. The one that I'm most fascinated by is wide receiver. I think wide receiver 3 is a wide open competition, although I will say this. Eagle fans and Eagle content creators and Eagle beat writers, every single offseason, we always pick some wide receiver who we think is going to not only make the roster, but be like this breakout star. How Travis Fulgham was for 2 games or whatever it was a couple of years ago. That's what's happening this year. We have people riding the Alontae Zaccheaus train. You have comeback season for Quez Watkins. You have people who think Devin Allen's going to pop this year. Joseph Ngata is the next Alshon Jeffrey. I heard that one. That was crazy.
Apparently.
Yeah. Obviously you have Charleston Rambo, who we'll talk about, that they just signed. I'm very curious to see if any of those guys are actually be good. I don't think so. I mean, honestly, if I was going to bet, it's Zaccheaus 3, Quez Watkins 4, and then flip a coin to who's going to be 5 and 6 in terms of the wide receivers. But that's another battle that doesn't have as much, I would say, juice to it in terms of actual playing time, but it's going to be fascinating to see because they're going to be cutting some of these guys. You're not going into the season with 8 wide receivers. You're going to have 6 max.
Yeah.
2 of them are not coming off the football field. So it's going to be very interesting. But you have all these different battles. You have the right guard position. That's a wide open battle. You have a lot of playing time on the defensive line because they rotate. So battle, it's more playing time. You have linebacker battle, which we think it's Josh Sweat and Nicholas Morrow and Nakobe Dean, but there are other players that can obviously take that over. You have a backup cornerback battle, Ringo mixing in with Zach McPherson, and then the safety battle. There's a lot of battles going on. Oh, and backup quarterback, Ian Book versus Tanner McKee. Loser goes home. Winner gets either a roster spot or a practice squad spot where you make $110,000 a week. So there are plenty of battles that we're going to be covering here when training camp gets going. And I can't wait to be, analyzing that sideline beat writer iPhone video where it's like, well, Tanner McKee had a pretty good throw across the field there. And it's just, it's wild. It's very wild right now.
Come on. We can pick up a lot from those. Don't discredit the iPhone blurry picture videos that you can get from training camp. But no, I'm with you. What do you make of you mentioned the right guard there real quick, the right guard position battle. So I know it's, hey, Cam Jurgens was drafted. Right. He's supposed to be the center. Obviously, Jason Kelsey's still here. He's coming back. Tyler Steen gets drafted. And it's like, we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. But the reports are that he's had a really good rookie mini camp. And the Jeff Stoutland's working with him quite a bit, which, no brainer. I mean, he picked the guy for a reason. But it's like, okay, who's going to win the positional battle there? I don't know if you caught Jason Kelsey's interview, but I mean, they asked him point blank, like, hey, what do you think of Cam Jurgens? What do you think about the ability there? And he said, he was like, oh, Cam was ready last year. Like, he could have played last year. He would have been a really good center last year if he had played. And he's going to be great in this league. He's going to be one of the all-time greats or has the ability to. So he couldn't say enough positive things, which, okay, you're not going to say anything negative in that context. So I get that. And, they're just bombarding him with those questions, but it still points to the fact that Jason Kelsey is doubling down on the guy that he selected. He helped the Eagles pick for his backup or his replacement. And he's still kind of giving him some credence to say, no, this guy could definitely play right guard. So it's the question I think we all want to know and that we're going to continue to ask, but you talk about starting spots, impactful positions. It's good to have depth because whoever wins the battle is still going to have someone to back them up and play that spot. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it because I see almost as many things saying the argument of Tyler Steen as I do for Cam Jurgens. So, at this point, it's like that's definitely going to be a very big battle and impactful for the offense. I think either way, you'll be good, but it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
I've been riding the Jurgen train for a while. I know people love Tyler Steen. He's massive. He had a great rookie camp that was talked about. But I think a year going against the Eagle defensive line in practice every single day is going to be a massive, massive help to Cam Jurgens in terms of that spot. But like you said, a very important position battle. Let's read some comments here. Be sure to give it a thumbs up on the show. David Moore says, Thomas, what game are you going to attend? I know Josh said he's going to the Dallas game. I think Josh and I will both go to the Dallas game in Dallas, because I'm obviously I'm from Texas. We both went to Baylor, so very, very close. Josh and I'll get to hang out in person. It'd be fun. We've talked about possibly the Dolphin game on Sunday night. I think that'd be a fun one too. And I've talked about the Chiefs game as well, just to be able to go and experience Arrowhead. I mean, listen, there are a lot of really good games on the schedule, but as you look at it here, to me, the ones that I would love to be at would be Miami on Sunday night, because I think the crowd would be electric. Tua versus Jalen could be a very, very fun battle. Obviously, the Kansas City game on Monday night. I've never been to a Monday Night Football game. I've always wanted to go to Arrowhead. My mom has been to Arrowhead instead. It's unbelievable how rowdy and loud and fun it is. That's going to be, circle that game. That could be two, one-loss teams going at it. And then Dallas on December 10th. I think another, Sunday night game. I think if Josh goes to that one, I'll go to that one as well. So if you want to
be there.
You want to, win tickets and go to the same game that we do, we'll get you tickets in our section. So, always a possibility there, because you get to pick which one you want to go ahead and go to.
Could be major in deciding the division too. That Dallas game that late in the year. I'm just saying, that's the one to be at.
Tyler Wallace says Rambo feels like a practice squad guy. Yeah, he does. I mean, listen, Rambo in 2019 being the number 2 receiver alongside CeeDee Lamb at Oklahoma was the talking point this week for all of us, because it's true. But what did he do after that? He couldn't make the Carolina Panthers roster. He, made the XFL and was the 10th leading receiver. It's not like this guy's some sort of hidden gem. It was some super weapon that's going to be unleashed on the rest of the league because we found him. He has work to do, but I think he has a very good chance of possibly making the roster overall. Chuck Hutton says book better than McKee. We'll see. I have no idea. That is going to be a fascinating battle at backup quarterback, and that's why you watch the preseason games, because you get to see a lot of Tanner McKee and a lot of Ian Book. They like Tanner McKee, and they think that he got an unfair swing at Stanford because the offensive line was so bad. That's fair. That was my read on him, right? Massive. He's a great pocket passer, more athletic than he looks, but he had a terrible offensive line and got shredded by defenses at Stanford.
And that's fair, but it's interesting to me, and I think we've talked about it a little bit. I don't think we've broken it down completely. It's like most of the time you try to get a quarterback who's going to be a little bit better scheme fit, right? Or like kind of mirror what your starting quarterback does, or at least you would like to. And so Marcus Mariota is great. You've got Ian Book, but then the Tanner McKee felt a little strange. And I do think that I agree as far as, not having a great offensive line from the scouting and the reports that I've seen. It's like he made great throws when he had time, but he didn't have a lot of time. So, there's some issues on that side, but you give him time and maybe he could be a great player. It's just interesting. Like, I don't know scheme fit if it's like, well, does that make sense? And Alex Stanley, the quarterback coach, talked today on his interview saying, it's a plus if you can have someone like that, but it's not mandatory. And we see a lot of things that we like in McKee. So he didn't knock it and say like, obviously he's not going to be here, but it's like, okay, does it make sense if you've got your 1 and 2 that do fit that kind of mold that can run a little bit more mobile versus a big pocket presence of a passer? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who wins out there.
I do know we got to get this super chat up on the screen. How about this from David Moore? Goodness gracious, David, you are rocking it tonight with the 100 bomb coming in here. Shout out from Corpus Christi, Texas. I've been to Corpus Christi a couple times. Love it down there. The home of Whataburger, right? Did Whataburger start in Corpus Christi? I think it did. Love you guys. Hope to see y'all in Dallas. That'd be awesome. David, I think we're both going to go. I mean, it's December 10th. That's a long ways away. Who knows what we're doing? Who knows what's going on in our that time of the year. But
that's true.
As of right now, there's a verbal agreement between Josh and myself. We will be at the Cowboy game in Dallas. So,
it's a Thomas Mott guarantee and a Josh Davis guarantee for what that's worth.
Unless
verbally.
The economy, shreds and we all have no money and can't afford a $300 ticket, then we won't be there. But maybe it does. I don't know, a forecast. But if not, then I think there's a good chance there. So, David, we appreciate that. We'd love for you to meet up and hang out. That would be absolutely sweet. You also get 100 entries into the ticket giveaways. Maybe
got you down.
We might be buying your ticket to hang out with us at this game.
There you go.
So there's that. Hey, not bad at all. Although the drive from Corpus Christi to Dallas, that's not a short one. That's probably what, 6 hours, 7 hours?
Yeah. What is that? What is that drive? I would say 6 or 7 hours. It's been a long time since I've been down that way, but that's never really a fun one, making that trip. Getting out of Texas anywhere really is forever. That's the longest part of any road trip.
David, we got you down for 100 entries into our ticket giveaway. Shout out David in the chat. Cheesesteak said, did I read Myles Jack's history with Sean Desai? I have no clue on that one. No idea. I don't know.
I don't know if I saw that either.
I don't think that he does, unless Desai was in Jacksonville whenever he was drafted when he was actually good. I don't know. Cheesesteak
He's
said
he's got history with David Caldwell, so
That's
GM
true.
who drafted him. Now he's with the Eagles, but I don't
Right.
know if I don't think Desai.
Martin Perez says week 2 I'll be at Tampa watching my Birds beat the Bucks. If they don't win week 2 in Tampa, we're gonna have some serious problems. I don't think it's not week 2, it's week 3, right? Because isn't the Viking game
Right.
week 2?
Yep.
Just to make sure I have this correct. Yeah. We gotta you gotta remember your Monday night the 25th, not Thursday night the 14th. Boy, a lot of primetime games early on.
There's more primetime games than there are 1 p.m. starts.
Yeah,
if you believe
crazy.
that. That's
crazy.
ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Andrew says, hope the Bucks tear it down to the studs and offload Devin White and Antoine Winfield out to the Eagles for pennies on the dollar. They would trade him for pennies on the dollar, but he would then re-sign for a lot. Andrew says, holy crap, $100 super chat. Y'all got too much money. I think he refers to David Moore here. Hey, listen, you got it, flaunt it. We're not going to complain. But any super chat gets you entered. And I'm pretty sure, I think Vanny, one of the jersey winners, and the jerseys are still in pre-order, by the way, guys, for Andrea, Tyler, and I've not gotten a shipping confirmation from Fanatics yet. But I don't think Vanny had some sort of crazy amount of donations, and he won because it's randomized. So Tyler did, and he did win, so it could help out. But, is what it is. Let's see here. Tanner McKee scored on 99% of the S. Oh, did he really? He scored on 99% on the S2? I didn't even know that. Clarence Worley said that's pretty good. But CJ Stroud scored like an 18, and at the same time, he got drafted number 2 overall. So
true, which we'll see how that one turns out. But never a bad thing. Never a bad thing to score with that type of a. I mean, I think it's from what I read, and again, it's data, it's statistics. You can make it say or tell whatever story you want to, but it seems like the players who score like terrible, like CJ Stroud, that's more of a telling sign than if you were to score like in the average middle of the pack. But I don't know that anyone ever shared like, hey, what happens if someone scores, for example, in like the 99th percentile? Like, has anyone tracked that? Someone who scores, let's say 90 and above, like, are they going to be someone who's great in the league?
Yeah.
Or, perhaps even, hey, this may speak to the fact that he's got a coaching career. If playing doesn't work out, maybe he just sees the game better than a lot of people. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to see.
Clarence says Thomas Mott guarantee as good as an ashtray on a motorbike. It's good. It's going to be there every single time. You ever ridden a motorcycle, Josh? I've never ridden I've ridden a dirt bike. I've never ridden a motorcycle.
That's as close as I've gotten to a motorcycle. It's just a dirt bike. I have not done the motorcycle.
Corpus Christi is 6 hours and 8 minutes to Dallas. That's worth it if you're going to Eagles Cowboys on Sunday night. You don't got to get up early. You can just leave it like noon and get there on time. It's fine. I mean, absolutely fine.
There you go. Take off the Monday.
Yes, you'd have to. How about this? Unpopular take. Should we trade A.J. Brown next season for a first? That's a really unpopular take. Yeah, that's going to be an unpopular take. Very unpopular take. No, I'm not in on that. Which Eagles are y'all taking first in fantasy football? I will say this. I worked with Viget and like DraftKings and stuff this past season. I'm going to do it again this year. I had a Viget fantasy sports betting league. I'm going to open up a fantasy sports betting league for the whole show. And like hundreds of people can be in there. Should be some prizes in there as well. That's the expectation. So in terms of fantasy, we can actually bet on games with no money because it's fantasy betting. It'd be very fun. But in terms of fantasy football, I mean, it's the obvious picks are there. I think DeAndre Swift is going to go in people's leagues way earlier than he should. I think he's going to be good this year. But I think if you have an Eagle fan in your league, they will take either Rashad Penny or DeAndre Swift in like round 3 and convince you that it's the best pick ever, which it might be.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of mouths to feed if you got Gainwell mixed in there as well. I wouldn't take him that high. But if you get Swift as your 3rd running back or your 4th running back, then we're talking.
Then you got a sleeper. The challenge is, to your point here, it's like last year was the time to pick Eagles players because they were kind of sleeper picks. And I'm not going to lie, the reason that I ended up getting to the Super Bowl, I lost like we did, which is kind of ironic, but I lost the Super Bowl in the fantasy championship was because I had Devontae Smith, and it was something crazy late. I can't remember, like the 7th or 8th round. It was ridiculous that he was still on the board, and obviously he performed really well. So I don't know, unfortunately, that there's going to be any of those because, people are going to be like, oh, you got to get the Eagles now. So I don't know. Now, I always question that whenever you bring up fantasy football because it's like, I want to pick as many Eagles players as I can. But
if they all get hurt,
you're trying. I know. You can't just, you got to kind of spread it around. You got to diversify the portfolio. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe you get a flyer on one of the running backs or another player like that. I think Goddard is going to have a better season. I know there's injuries last year, so maybe somehow he slips because people are like, hey, he wasn't so great last year. It goes under the radar. So tight end's always important. Maybe get Goddard.
Romeo really wants to go to the Cowboy game as well. Another 100.
Romeo, gotcha.
Romeo. I said Romeo. What an idiot. I just butchered his name as he
Well,
dropped
like
100 bomb.
Alpha Romeo, maybe. Maybe he pronounces it that way.
It could be. Hopefully, Philly can pick up a win in Jerry World this year. Listen, we're going to hopefully be there. And Romeo, you got 100 entries with a chance to go as well, or any other game that you possibly want to. It's even more fun when they went on the road against Dallas, because all those Cowboy fans, they got to, walk out of Jerry World, which is massive. It's hard to get out of. All those steps. They got to go find their lifted truck, but they're walking in cowboy boots, so it's a little uncomfortable. They're whining. They're drinking Bud Light, which we all know is trash beer now, especially these days. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So I agree. Hopefully they can pick it up. We appreciate the 100 bomb. We get you down for 100 entries. There.
Heck yeah, got you down.
My man, crazy stuff right there. Cool Rain says another 100. Wow, Josh and Thomas are going to the Super Bowl next year. That'd be nice. Hey. That would be nice. Can you imagine?
Starting that fund? I'm telling you, if we make it to Vegas,
I have people that we can stay with, so we wouldn't have to pay for a hotel.
Okay, but all right, it's done.
$4,000. I mean, I'd probably do it. If you told me right now the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl and I'd pay $4,000 to do it, I'd do it. It was just $8 last year. It was $8 because it was in, it was Arizona and it was Mahomes. $8 is a lot of money.
That
$4
was it. Yeah,
it's also a lot of money, but it's a little more swallowable, if that's a word. You can get it down easier than.
And if we keep getting these 100 super chats, like Cool Rain says, we'll be there. So we are on our way.
No worries. Hey, Romeo, we appreciate the super chat. Hopefully they can get that win in Jerry. We'll get you down for 100 entries to the jersey giveaway. Andrew says people are making it rain. They want to win tickets. I mean, listen, you put $100 chat in, and then you win $350 tickets. It's a pretty good deal. So
there you go.
It's the same thing.
Because this is for 2 tickets. So
it's for 2. It's like $600 worth of tickets. Yeah, I mean,
depends on what the price is, but
not bad.
Yeah.
You had to pay on the price. That's true. Chuck Hutton says, Ngata should be a sleeper. Never met expectations of Clemson. He's a burner. Yeah, maybe. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not convinced. There has not been a practice squad receiver who has dominated in Philadelphia in a while. And it dominates, a strong word there. But Greg Ward flashed, but there was no one else on that roster. And Travis Fulgham, for whatever reason, found Jesus for 2 games and then forgot him and disappeared. I mean, it's wild stuff.
We wanted to jump on that one.
The Travis Fulgham stuff is one of the. He used to do a 30 for 30 on how much he balled out in those 2 games. The Giants game was 13 for $150 and a touchdown. It was wild stuff. But what are you gonna do? Gary Walker says I can say Dak is trash, but he clean trash. I don't know what that means, but he is trash. Maybe because he's bad, but he's also not trash. He's pretty good. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Cheesesteak said my bad regarding Myles' connection to the Eagles. It was Caldwell, who was Jags GM. Not sure his Bird's duties. I don't know what Caldwell's duty is on Philadelphia right now because he's not the GM anymore. Josh is Googling it.
Yeah, let's figure that one out.
Tyler Wall says Fulgham literally had a Linsanity run. You forget that Jeremy Lin was the hottest thing in the world with the Knicks for 2 weeks. He hit that shot over Kobe to beat the Lakers, at the buzzer. And it was this guy's insane. Mike Breen was on the call. Wild stuff.
That was a really exciting time. So it looks like he's the executive, personnel executive for the Eagles.
What does that mean? What does he do? I wonder how much does he make?
I don't know.
What do you make as the personnel exec? See, personnel would make you think player, right? Player personnel.
Surely. I mean, as a former GM, what I can only expect is that he's helping out Howie as probably a upper level.
That would make sense.
Not necessarily the right-hand man, maybe, but very close to that point. I mean, he's got to make a lot of money, right?
What do you think? $250,000? He's got to make more. No. He doesn't make $500,000. You think he makes $500,000? How much does Howie Roseman make?
I hang on, let's see.
What's Howie Roseman's salary? I don't even know. I never even thought about how much we pay Howie Roseman to be the GOAT. Like $2 million? Let's see. Howie Roseman makes. He got a contract extension. Okay, Bleacher Report says, how much money do NFL front office executives make? And it says between $1 and $3 million. Jeff Ireland, the GM of the Dolphins, made 2.8 in 2011. That was forever ago.
Oh, so he's got to make a lot more than that.
So it's at least $3 million then. Minimum.
And how he's got to be at the very top of that.
Yeah.
No
I bet
doubt.
Howie makes $4 million.
And Jeffrey Lurie's always said, like, hey, we have no problem paying our coaches, paying our executive staff, paying, that type, because it doesn't come from the cap. So it's
Yeah.
not a cap hit. So it's
Right.
just Lurie saying, all right, we're going to get the best of the best,
That's a
which is why
great point.
Stoutland stayed there for so long.
That's a great
He
point.
just gets paid a ridiculous amount of money.
Yes, that is very, very true. Andrew says, gosh, I hate Barnett. Thank goodness he was hurt last year. That's a little mean. Derek Barnett could be good this year. I don't know.
I hope he is.
We all talked about, because that heavy.com article said they might cut him. You never know. They're not going to cut Derek Barnett this year. There's no way. There's no way. He will be on the roster for sure.
What sense does that make? Yeah, we all did shows on it, but the cap hit alone is like, why? Like, what are you doing by going ahead and just cutting this guy? It's like, yes, he's not lived up to expectations, and you're hoping to see a season from him, but if anything, it's like, I hope that he comes back. I hope he has a great season because he knows he needs to, right? Like, this is the contract year to say, I got to put something out there where whether it's the Eagles or another team is going to re-sign me. And so a lot of times you see players, I have this strategy going back to fantasy football when we're talking about this. A lot of times, if you want to find a sleeper or a guy who hasn't really lived up to expectations, look if it's their contract year and then draft them. It's not foolproof, but like, you want some extra motivation. So you talk about Derek Barnett, like, he's got to put some tape out there that teams can say, oh yeah, you know what, he could still play. And hopefully it's for the Eagles. And I'd love to see it. If he starts playing great, gets even more playing time, we don't have issues or concerns with the penalties. That's been the big knock. That it's hopefully he could just be more focused, right? And just not make those boneheaded plays. But yeah, I'd love to see it. I'm all for Derek Barnett.
I'm too. I mean, you spend that high of a draft pick on somebody, you want him to kind of, pop a little bit more. Anthony Perry says, where was that? I saw it. He said, love my Kelly Green John, talking about the, I believe, the Philly hats, which all shipped. I think most of you guys have gotten them at this point. They have all shipped. They are in the mail right now. Couple more of the black, couple more of the white. The green is completely sold out, but I got to sell the black and the white before I can make more green ones. So if you want to pick one up, 20% off using promo code Mott. I said I do that to the end of the week down below in the description box. How about old 94 WIP and our guy Ike Reese rocking the green Philly hat? Pretty cool. I sent some to Hugh Douglas. I used to host with him on some shows on 92.9, so he's a friend. Hugh took a picture with Ike, and I'll tell you why. Hugh Douglas is a ginormous human being. Like, he is an absolute animal in terms of, like, you could tell he's a pass rusher, right? That guy hits you coming off the edge. He's got a giant head. I mean, literally, I can imagine the size helmet that he had to wear. These are big hats. There's no way it would fit on his head. That's why he put on Ike Reese's. That's my guess.
That's hilarious.
Because Ike's got like a normal size head. I'm telling you, the first time I ever met Hugh Douglas in person to host a show, I'm like, can you imagine this guy sacking me? Because I would die. Just a really, really powerful,
just murder somebody.
Dude. He's huge. But I appreciate him with the hats. Really, really appreciate him, handing one off there to Ike. But yeah, I'm out of the Kelly Green. So what are you going to do? Cheesesteak says, don't be dissing Barnett. He helped Eagles win the Super Bowl. He gets a free pass. He does. He did fall on the ball.
Someone had to do it.
Someone had to do it.
It was him.
And he did have like 6 sacks that year and had a bunch later on. He had his sack of Kirk. I think he had a strip sack of Kirk Cousins, or not Kirk Cousins. Sorry, it was Case Keenum in the NFC Championship.
How great was that game? That was, we were texting on that one. It was over before it started, pretty much. It's like, I think, I can't remember where I was, but like, I checked the score and then I'm like, because we were at like a wedding or something. So we were like not able to see like the first quarter or something like that. And I checked it. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'll take it. But I was like, I did not expect to see that.
I totally agree. Vanny jumping in here for 9 more. Dallas, David is a Cowboy fan. His money is no good here. How do we know that? I don't think David's a Cowboy fan. If I win again, I'll donate my tickets to the next deserving fan. There you go. You got to like that. Guys, we're even better than last year with a real DC2. Grease the polls. Vanny, 10 more entries there, but apparently he'll just give those away. So 10 more entries for everybody else. Vanny, we appreciate that for the jersey giveaway. Yeah, Desai is fascinating. He is truly fascinating because nobody knows if he's going to be good or not. He didn't have a good year when he was defensive coordinator with the Bears, but he had bad talent. So obviously you expect him to be better, but he's not Jonathan Gannon. And he's gotten the biggest boost in overall love from Eagle fans based off the fact that Gannon is so hated now with the whole tampering and the leaving and being happy about it, all those crazy reports. But we have no idea if Desai is good or not. We all expect it and hope it. He mentioned Jim Johnson in his press conference, which gave people even more brownie points. Like, he's just raking in brownie points as a DC, but we don't know if he's actually going to be good. I think he will be, but it's funny to watch everybody be like, Desai, we got a real DC, and he's so good, he's going to blitz and all this stuff. And it's like, I have no idea. I have no clue who this guy is. I have no idea if he's good or not. He has very little on the track record of dealing with such expectations as not only being the DC here, but the DC of maybe the best defensive roster in football. A lot to kind of live up to, and we'll turn on him in a dime if you lose to, the opener to Mac Jones. You struggle against the Bucks. I mean, you could really have people hating on Desai if things get crazy. So we'll see.
It could happen
like
quick,
him,
yeah.
but we'll see.
I do too. I'm all for it. And yes, it helps with all the sound bites and whenever he's talking about, hey, I have the belief that a defense should be representative of a city and it should be that Philly mentality. Like, okay, you're just singing the praises and everyone's jumping on that, which was phenomenal. I loved it. But yeah, it's like, okay, we need to see it. And there's a lot of expectations now. But it was interesting too that James Bradberry, during his interview, he had kind of made the comment of like, I love playing for smart coaches. I love playing for coaches that put us in position to win games. And I was like, was that a knock at Gannon? Like, or was it him just, saying something to say it? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I know it wasn't Bradberry who said it. I know that it was after Gannon came out with a statement. Then C.J. Gardner-Johnson says, you didn't put us in position to make plays. So, maybe it's something, maybe it's not. It's just interesting to get that type of standpoint. But it sounds like everybody loves him. And to your point, he's only helping it with what he said. Because if I can be a shell of Jim Johnson, he's like, that would be great. So, yeah, just sign me up for that.
Cool Rain says Gannon's going to get the biggest booze ever when he comes back to Philly. Yeah, but the schedule makers kind of helped him out by putting him here in week 17. I mean, this could be a nothing burger of a game. It truly could be. If you beat Dallas here, the game that Josh and I were probably going to be at, and then and then they're setting up where they just got to win 2 of their final 4, and they beat Seattle and New York. These 2 are irrelevant. So, and the crowd will not be as crazy. They won't be as ravenous. They might have let Gannon off the hook a little bit, but it is helpful because you have this tough stretch, and then you at least get one pretty much guaranteed easy game in this final 5. And if you need to win 2 of the final 5 or 2 of the final 4, it's good to have the Cardinals in there. So, whatever.
True. But I mean, I wish the game was a little earlier in the season because also like, who's to say that Jonathan Gannon's still the head coach by that point, right? Like, what if he just had a terrible season and he was gone before coming back to Philly? Like, I would hate that probably more so than anything else. Yeah. Is like, really, you got fired before you even made it back to Philly? But I mean, maybe we're all proven wrong, but I don't know of very many people that are expecting a lot from Gannon in his head coaching gig. Maybe he does better than what I think. I'm not saying necessarily he's going to get fired in his first year because that usually takes a ton for a team to say, hey, we invested all this time, research and interviews and everything else to fire you before a full season. But, if it's bad, if it's an absolute dumpster fire, like you may not see him in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it feels very Josh McDaniels' first stint with the Broncos where there was a lot of talk. He was young. He was like, or who was the guy who had the Raiders head coaching job? Dennis Allen. I mean, he was just young and it was overwhelming. It feels like that'll be the case for Gannon, but we don't know. We really have no idea. I have no clue on that one. Let's see some more comments here. See what we have going on. Sure, hit the thumbs up button. Appreciate you guys watching. Josh is over 4,000 subs and has had a couple of 20 bangers in terms of views. 20K views the past couple of days. He's crushing it right now. If you're not subscribed to Josh's channel,
appreciate you guys.
You've got to go ahead and give it a sub. It's linked down below in the description box. Although I assume most of you guys are subbed to Josh, especially if you're trying to get in on these tickets giveaway. We check got to be subbed to both of the channels. Anthony Parody said, I like the mentality for the players today at the press conference. They are focused. We talked about that earlier, but they are focused. And it was very fun to see Bradberry talking about how much he wanted to come back and how he's ready to play Juju again. And A.J. Brown trying to go ahead and become the complete receiver. And Dallas Goedert trying to figure out how to become a better route runner, which is wild because he's a really good route runner. And Kelsey was raving about Jalen Hurts and the work ethic. It's got to be a fun building to be in. I bet even if you're like a social media guy, or you're a marketing guy or a ticket sales guy, you're in the building, you're probably having a good time right now because everyone's pumped, everyone likes each other. You wonder if there are rifts in this locker room. Surely someone doesn't like somebody, but I think we'd be hard-pressed to let them tell us who it was or figure it out. It'd be wild. It'd be very wild.
Yeah, I would be shocked more than anything else. I mean, I guess you're never going to have like everyone get along, but you got the common theme, the buy-in and everything else. Like it seems like such a great cohesive unit. Like, yeah, I think anything a part of the Eagles organization, I mean, we're pumped, we're ecstatic. Like we're on the outside looking in, but just the fact that we're covering it and talking about them all day, it just doesn't get better than this. So it's phenomenal.
what was the question I just saw about the Jets? There it is. Mike says, "What do you guys think of the Jets game? Overhyped? I think the Jets are gonna be good this year. I mean, they're the only way the Jets are not good is if there's growing pains, or if Rodgers truly has come to the end and he's kind of checks out, collects his $50 million, and then leaves the Jets in a heaping pile of mess. I mean, that's the only possibility there, but." I do think that they're going to be pretty good. They have the best defense the Jets have had in a very long time. I think Saleh coaches them up incredibly well, and he is a good leader from a head coaching standpoint. And they have weapons all over the place. I mean, they got some serious weapons that you got to face. And if Rodgers is vintage Rodgers, they're going to be a real problem. That's going to be a great test for Desai and that defense. And I believe they're early enough on the schedule to where it is their true first test from a receiver standpoint. Like, you get Cooper Kupp the weekend before, but this is really, let's go get a quarterback who has a really good offensive line against a good defense and multiple legit receivers at one time. Jets are legit. I think they're very good. I don't know if they're going to win the AFC, but I think they're very, very good.
I think they are too, and they're being helped out by the NFL because if you saw the report now, granted, they can't really pick or kind of figure out, I guess, who they're playing as much because it's like, okay, you're going to play these teams, but the scheduling, like, I don't know if you saw that, but the NFL did the Jets all the favors in the world to try to set up the best scheduling for them. They have the most rest, like differentiation between other teams that they play. Like, they're playing other teams with less rest more often than any other team in the NFL. I think it's like 38% of the time they're playing teams where the Jets themselves have more rest or more days off before the game than the other team does. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, they probably already, as they're putting the schedule together, like, okay, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. Like, we'll maybe help set this thing up because you make a lot more money if Aaron Rodgers is doing well and on primetime games. So I don't know. But I either way, I still think that they're going to be good. They've got a lot of invested in this. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't know that he's going to be, like the guy that he was 5 years ago, but he's going to be better than last year. I think the lingering finger injury and just him not being maybe totally invested or the team not having other pieces around him. This is his first or maybe last. Who knows how long he's going to be there? Hoorah. So I could see them being good. It's definitely not going to be an easy game. And, you never know. Like, both those teams being very successful. I don't know if they're going to win the AFC because it's very difficult. But yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good.
Cheesesteak says, Josh, best experience on vacation. You got back from Hawaii over a week ago, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a week and a half-ish ago, something like that.
Best part of Hawaii. What was the best part?
Man, so best part of Hawaii, that would have been, there's so many things really. I mean, just really relaxing. Like, we woke up on the second to last day, went out to I guess it was the North Shore. And and so we went and saw kind of the sunrise. Yeah. And so we kind of watched the sunrise come up, relax, hang out. Let's see, we went to Waimanalo Beach as well. We did that. I got to see just, I don't know, the beautiful scenery. I just water like that, because I'd only been to, I guess, places mostly, where it's kind of like the murky water and everything else. So like that was really cool. But really just the relaxation, everything else, that was what I loved the most about Hawaii. I'll let everybody in on a secret that I haven't posted anywhere. We haven't shared anywhere except for family. So you guys are gonna be the first to know this. The best experience on the vacation is we found out while we were there that my wife is pregnant. So we're gonna have baby number 2.
Way.
Yeah. So you guys breaking news. Our baby number 2 is on the way. That was the best experience. That was the best experience on the vacation. I wasn't really going to share it, but that's a great question. I have to, like, what was the best experience? No doubt. So it's exciting.
Double dad.
It's a little nerve-wracking to say the least, like adding to number 2. So yeah, but that was definitely the best experience for sure.
If it's a boy, is it Jalen Hurts Davis? Is it Jason Kelsey Davis?
See,
like what are we naming him?
It has to be, right? Like, little did we know whenever we named our daughter Georgia that it would have so many Philly ties, right? Like that just turned out to work out perfectly.
Beautiful. Yes.
And so we're like, oh yeah. So what's the baby going to be named? If it's a girl or if it's a boy? I don't know. I don't know that my wife's
when's the
Jalen or a Jason Kelsey, but we'll see.
Jason Kelsey Davis. Your wife would have to give.
I think it's great.
You would have to give up a lot in that marriage to get Jason Kelsey Davis across the board there on the.
That would be quite a bit.
Yeah, it's tough. When's the baby due? Is it football season? It'll be close, right?
It'll be playoff time actually. So January 14th is the due date. That's going to be right in the the middle of the run, probably.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're still
Well,
in it.
and we obviously are going to the playoff game. So, I mean, listen.
Right. So I'm just,
Tough.
that's going to be another conversation we have to have. We're just
We'll
not
have that one in
having
the future. We'll have that one in the future. A lot of congratulations here. People all throwing in their congrats. Yeah,
I
my
appreciate
girlfriend
it.
Paige just said congrats. This is the best part of the show for her is figuring out that Josh is having a baby. Massive
Awesome.
congrats there.
Thank
How
you.
about Andrea jumping in here with a little diaper fun because you know that he is going to need it with
Yeah.
the 20 congrats.
Just getting
Josh.
more, that's for sure.
That's going to be a lot more. Andrea, we appreciate it. We'll give you 20 entries, obviously,
Thank you.
into
Got you
the
down.
ticket giveaway as well. Dad number 2. Boy, I'm behind, guys. I mean, I gotta step up the game. I mean,
No, don't rush it. Do not rush it. No, it's great. It's exciting, but no,
Yes.
definitely don't rush it. Enjoy every bit.
See, my girlfriend Paige is watching this. There you go. I don't have to rush it. See, it's fine. It's fine. How about this? Vanny says Jeremiah T. Davis. That could be interesting.
Okay.
That could be
All right.
interesting. Do you have a favorite guy's name?
I don't know that I have. We've done, and I'm sure there's tons of apps around there. I think it's like baby names or whatever. But you like
app.
swipe left and
Yes.
right if you like it,
For
and
baby names.
exactly, yeah. So you match with, and we don't see it. We have two separate accounts to match you. So I don't know. We haven't had too many of those. I know that my wife loves Myles, specifically for like Myles Teller, but Myles. So
Myles Teller's
she's
an
a big
Eagles
Myles
fan.
Teller fan. Yeah, that's another potential tie to it. But she loves Myles Teller. I don't think that she would have known. Maybe she knows. I don't think she would have known that he was an Eagles fan. But yes, so there's probably the leader at this point. If it was a boy, going with Myles. But I don't know. There's so much time, and if it's a girl, what do you do? We've already got Georgia, so. It's like, do we go with something kind of unique and a city name? Like we said, Charlotte, or something like that. But I don't know. There's so much more time.
Very exciting.
Oh,
congratulations.
She weighed in.
What is it?
She weighed in on the Jason Kelsey. You see the comments?
Oh, there's just definitely not going to be Jason Kelsey. All right. Well,
there you go. That's not working. So, yep, that's a definitely no.
No, they're not going to be Jason Kelsey. I mean, listen, there are a lot of Eagle. You get AJ Brown Davis. That'd be fun. Devontae Smith Davis would be so funny.
There's plenty. There's plenty of names that we can go with.
People on a roster,
Exactly.
The name of Nick Davis. That could be fun. Or name of Jordan Davis. How about you do that? That'd be fun.
Oh, hey, or Nolan Smith Davis. That could be potential. That's her favorite out of the rookie picks so far. She likes Nolan Smith.
She's a Nolan Smith fan.
Maybe so.
Okay, very exciting. Well, congratulations. Double fun with the Hawaii and then finding out baby number 2. And we're the first to know. Josh hasn't posted this on social media. I follow both Josh and his wife.
It'll probably be like a month or so.
We're like the first to know
literally
here.
The first
to know. This is how you know. Someone said Howie. Name him Howie. That's a good name. That'd be fun.
I like that.
In honor of the GOAT, Howie Roseman. Speaking of, this is lesser so. I will not be here 2 Wednesdays from now. So next Wednesday we'll be in. Wednesday after that, going to Europe. So I'll be out of town talking about vacation. So we will not be doing a link because it'll be very late at night, or early in the morning. But people can mark down their calendar. We get to Wednesday live links every single Wednesday. 52 Wednesdays a year. We got to take some weeks off, so it'll be fun. How about this? Jalen for a girl. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
Hey, you know what? While she's still watching, anyone who wants to throw comments, any recommendations in the comments section, she's obviously still watching because she was very quick on the no Jason Kelsey name. So any other names, boy or girl, throw them out there. Let's have it.
How old were you when you had Georgia? How old were you? My girlfriend keeps saying, we're 27. When are we going to have kids?
Yeah.
Like,
you got time. Time. It was, I guess I would have been 28.
Don't say that. That means I got like a year. I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 28.
30 is the new 28.
So
it's fine.
I mean, my brother's having their first and he's 30. So
there you go.
You got time.
Yeah.
You got time.
Paige, relax. It's fine. Not a problem there. If it's a girl, call it Emma. That's my favorite girl's name. There you go. Non-Eagle. Name it Novacare. Okay, well, I can just go ahead and answer that's not going to happen. But Novacare Davis. Yeah, Novacare. Linc. That's getting crazy here. Novacare Davis.
Lincoln, maybe. I don't know.
Boy, baby names. Very, very fun overall. Okay. Any other questions? We're at an hour here. We'll go for a little bit longer, but if you have any more other questions or baby names you want to throw in for Josh. Now, of course, if the baby comes on a Wednesday, Josh will just be in the in the room.
It'll be just a live show
Live show. We'll just
from the
talk
birth
about
center.
stuff.
That's what
Yeah,
it'll
it'd
be.
be fine. It's the second baby. It's like, it's just easier. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Can you imagine? Honey, sorry, you gotta wait. I gotta do the live show, and then we'll go to the
Yeah.
hospital.
Oh,
Fine.
hold on.
Name her or him Stoutland. Jeez, we're getting real. Sandy's hating these names. Stoutland.
Yeah. She is literally like, nope, that's not going to happen at all.
There's
I'm
a normal
going
one.
to hear
Andrea
this later.
said my son's name is Dylan. That's a lot better than NovaCare.
Okay, there we go. Yes, I like that. There's that's an actually realistic one.
That's a real
Some
one.
of these are
that is funny.
just not going to happen.
That is really, really funny. Nick for our Super Bowl quarterback. It could be. I'm trying to see if there's going to be any other signings or moves in the next couple of weeks. I've said no. You think no? I mean, we always talk about linked to, what was it? Who was the guy that we were linked to earlier this week besides Myles Jack, the pass rusher?
There's a Leonard Floyd.
That one, yes. So every week it's Leonard Floyd, Myles Jack. And Josh and I say this on our shows. I think other people do too. But when you're linked to somebody, that could literally just mean the ESPN beat writer, which was the Myles Jack one, by the way. Literally, an ESPN beat writer says the best fit for Myles Jack is the Eagles, and we all go, "Oh, they're linked. Oh, we're gonna get them." That's no. You got to have some real hard evidence that someone is linked, and the best way to know that is if they're coming in for workouts, because at this point in the year, it would be like, "Hey, come in for a workout. We'll try out Ndamukong Suh," even though he probably doesn't need a workout. But if you wanted to bring in somebody else for a workout, that's how you know that it's like an actual meeting and an actual thing. But just FYI for people watching shows. And when it's like, we're linked to this person, probably not really linked. Some beat writers.
True.
Like, I could literally say right now, we're linked to Ezekiel Elliott. And then you could write a whole article on it and get clicks.
No.
And then, it gets crazy. But that's how it works. It's like, I it could be a good fit. You're linked to Zeke. And as Anthony Perry just said, he was linked to everybody. Which
yeah. But and that's very true, because especially, I mean, what are people doing? They're trying to grab headlines. So it's like the great fun team to write about now is the Eagles. So if there's any rumors or even potential of rumors for some player to be linked to whatever team, it'd be the Eagles. Let's say, oh, well, you know what? Hey, are we a little bit lacking in some content for ESPN's? Like, okay, let's make predictions. What player should each team go after? And all of a sudden, it's like, well, there you go. You've got Bill Barnwell writing about Myles Jack. So, that's how those things happen. To me, it's like, yes, you could see all these as potential scenarios or potential fits.
Yes.
The Leonard Floyd one was kind of interesting because it's like he's got the Sean Desai connection. He was in Chicago for a long time when Desai was there. But again, like all of these rumors and speculations and players being linked happen, it's you basically find some small type of similarity, or they have a relationship, or they know the player from the past, and then they're also a free agent, and then you can kind of write the article on it. So I don't know. I think, like you mentioned, it'd be a little bit unrealistic to me to see any of these players be signed anytime soon. We're gonna see some eventually, but it's probably not going to be till training camp or even after training camp.
Remember, beat writers have to work all year. They don't just get to work during the regular season. So you're a beat writer for ESPN. Hey, you have an article due on Sunday. Write about something. Boom, this is what you do. It's just kind of how it happens overall. So, I feel bad for babies born in 2017 named Wentz. Yeah, there probably were some. Carson Wentz. Yeah, that would stink. Hopefully, if you had a baby in 2017, you're naming it Nick off of Nick Foles, because then it's a better story overall. But what are you going to do?
That's true.
Cool Rain says, Thomas, hope you enjoy Europe. How long you gone for? I'm gone for 10 days. I'm going for a while. We fly into London, and then we go to Dublin, Ireland. Never been to Ireland. Then we go to Scotland.
You'll like that.
Edinburgh. And then we go to France. We're going to the French Open on Sunday. So
are you really?
Well, we have grounds passes because so I'm a big tennis fan. Went to the US Open this past year, center court, saw Rafa Nadal, my favorite player, lots of fun. But then we tried to get center court for the French Open, and it's like $900. So we got grounds passes to the rest of the court. So it's gonna be fun. But we're doing this whole tour of like the Scottish Highlands, and so we're going to where that famous scene from Skyfall is in James Bond, where they're overlooking the moors. The bus stops there, and you can see the whole thing. So, and we're gonna see the Harry Potter lake and the Harry Potter train that comes, the Hogwarts Express, like the fake one that they filmed as it went by.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. But it's a long trip.
That's legit.
It's a long trip. It's gonna be a long trip.
You'll have fun. We only went to Dublin. We didn't do Scotland, but that was kind of next time bucket list item. So. Okay. That'll be awesome. You'll have to tell me how that turns out.
Factory tour set up.
That's what I was going to say. That's a for sure. You have to do that. That's awesome to be a part of. Yeah. Cool. And go to, I'll have to find the name of it. There's a bar there or a pub in Dublin, and it's the oldest active still running pub, and I want to
Real?
say it's like the 1400s. It's crazy how long it's been around, but it's cool. It's got a lot of history. You can see
Sounds good to
like
me.
each renovation, everything. It's worth checking out.
There you go. I appreciate that. Let me know. I'll have to look up the name, or let me know if you think about it. Vanny's got one more for 2 more entries in here. He said, one more. This is the one, and Dominican Davis. That's got it. That's almost as bad as
Dominic
Novacare.
Davis.
Almost as bad as Novacare. That's funny.
Yeah, that's that. I can answer that
Yeah.
one too.
I don't think
That's gonna
Sandy
be
would.
a no for that one.
Jeez. That would be wild. That'd be very wild. Lucy says, can you please say hi, Lucy? Hi, Lucy. I am a fan of you guys. Hello, Lucy.
What's up?
Hope we're having fun tonight. Jordan Davis, girl or boy? It does feel like Jordan Davis would be the easiest one because the last name was already built in, and Jordan's a normal name, right? But then you get the Jordan Davis connection. But yeah,
true. And my twin brother is his middle name's Jordan. So, and also, if people didn't know, now you just figured out I have a twin brother.
That is true, and they look exactly the same. They are now. They're not like super twins or whatever the word is to like identical. That's the word. But when they're together, it's like they're both massively tall, blonde hair, beards. Although I don't know if your brother still has a beard. He didn't.
He does. Yeah, he's still rocking his beard.
Yeah,
yep.
He is a twin. Cheesesteak says Scotland. Thumbs up. Good. Got relatives there. That should be fun. What's with Davis sitting and not playing? Out of shape again. Cox was playing. Is that at OTAs? I don't know what Hadley's mentioning there. Davis had the ankle injury.
Sure. Yeah, right? He got injured
and basically was never the same. So that's why people. I mean, I mentioned today. I mean, Jordan Davis has got to pick it up, or he's going to lose playing time. Now they're all going to play, but he could lose playing time. But the ankle injury was a big reason why he didn't play a lot. So what are you going to do?
Right. And thankfully, he's probably going to have to play first and second down. We were talking about this before you got some of the signings or the draft picks and everything. There is like, well, how he's viewed Jordan Davis as a player that why can't he play all 3 downs? But now after these picks, to your point, yeah, he's going to have to be able to kind of hold up the middle. But thankfully, you're only asking him for first and second down. He doesn't have to be that guy that, you ask him to go rush the passer. You say, nope, you know what? First, second down, get you out, rotational pass rush. I think it's great.
Kenneth Butler says, name the second kid Bulldogs. So you have Georgia and Bulldogs.
I mean, come on.
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny, but
that's funny. Yeah.
Georgia's, I think that's a great name, right? Like, so we named her that reason, but what's the kid Bulldog gonna, how do you explain that? Like when they get older, like, hey, mom and dad, why did you name me Bulldog? Like,
oh, it's too good. That's too good. What do you have coming up on your show tomorrow? Do you have your show planned for tomorrow? Is be looking at the press conferences from today is what I'm looking at. Is probably what I'm going to
do. Yep. Going to cover some of the press conferences from today. I'm going to be looking back at possibly some other I guess sound bites from Michael Clay as well. I know that he spoke, what was it, a day or 2 ago, something like that, but something with the special teams, his motivation there. So yeah, going to cover some of those topics on that side.
Crash test.
How about you,
man? Yeah, no, gonna be looking at that. I want to do a roster, a depth chart prediction, a breakdown. I haven't figured that out yet on when I'm going to do that, but I'm working on that one as well. So plenty of stuff happening next couple of days and weeks. Okay, we'll do like 3 more minutes of questions and we'll wrap up here, and then we will send it off for the evening. If anyone has any more Eagle questions, no more baby names here, Eagle questions, then we will. Although I do see the one that says could name the girl Sue, S-U-H, and go with that. That'd be funny. My grandpa's dog's name is Sue, and it's a boy from the Johnny Cash song.
But, gotcha. Okay, I was like, wait, what? That makes sense.
Vanny says, very early I'm hearing it's going to be Carter and Cox with Davis rotating. I think it will be. I think you're starting like snap 1 of the 2023 season would be Davis and Cox together. And the goal would be to have Davis as your 2-down lineman, so playing the first 2 downs, and then they would rotate Carter in as well, along with Milton Williams and the rest. Davis is not a pass rushing guy. He's in there for the run stopping ability. So as soon as you get to 2nd down and 11, 3rd down and 8, Davis comes out. So I would expect Davis to be first, but more reps would then go to the other pass rushing guys like a Carter if you're in pass rushing situations. They're going to be rotating a lot. Davis gets the win going back and forth from sideline to, actually playing. So he gets to run back and forth.
I agree. Yeah. And again, it feels like kind of semantics at this point because it's a starter, but everyone's going to be fighting or getting different playing time in the rotational pass rush. So just because a player starts, that doesn't even mean they're going to get as many snaps over the course of the game. So, but I would agree. I mean, as far as like week one, you've got a veteran in Cox, and then probably someone like a Jordan Davis who does have that NFL experience. I mean, unless Jalen Carter just absolutely impresses and you say, you know what, we have to get him on the field now. There's no waiting. We'll figure out other people to rotate with him, but it wouldn't surprise me. Start out with those guys, but by the end, when all said and done, I would be surprised if Jalen Carter's not playing at least close to the most of the snaps from the team, but we'll see.
There you go. All right, we got one more entry in here. How about Nathaniel Bowden saying my 8-year-old Waylon? That's a fun name. Waylon is a Georgia fan and now an Eagles fan. Thanks to Josh. And can we get a shout out? There you go. There's your shout out. And you also get 10 entries into the jersey giveaway. Shout out to Waylon, who of course is a Georgia fan.
What's up, Waylon?
Waylon, hopefully you're having fun here. Yeah, Georgia's a good
down.
Good team to like, and you got 10 entries in the jersey giveaway, or I always say the ticket giveaway. So appreciate that. Shout out Waylon on the show tonight. Let's see here. Who's going to have more receiving yards, Brown or Smith? We said this at the very beginning. I would be very, very interested in Devontae Smith balling this year because I think he's uncoverable.
I think Smitty will.
I think he's uncoverable.
I think he will. I think AJ Brown's going to be great, but I think Smitty.
Think Devontae Smith final year at Alabama where you literally could not cover him. I remember I went back and watched some tape of his the other day. It's stupid. Now he's playing guys who are going to be like car salesmen and not actual football players, but he's scary. Crazy.
That's knocking some of the SEC corners. I mean, that's a little drastic, but
they're not all going.
True, yes.
You got some insurance. You got to be in marketing. You got to do what you and I do. I mean, come on, we're just average Joes. It's like
lining up. We're not playing in the SEC though, Thomas. No. Like I get what you're saying. That's true, but come on, XFL. Let's say that. He's not playing XFL corners. These are NFL guys.
All right, last one here. Mike Rowland says, "How do you think they utilized Nolan Smith this year?" I don't know. I think they're going to try to get him on the football field as much as possible. I think it will be in a lot of pass rush situations. They will drop him into coverage, though. He's too fast not to. You will see the 4-3 defense with the extra pass rusher that Reddick makes it 5, as they normally do. And Reddick bailed out in coverage this past year. They will do that with Nolan Smith. Do I want them to? No, but they will. So that's what I expect. I don't know how much they're going to actually use him in terms of snaps because Reddick is so good. You don't need to replace Reddick, but I bet you there's 10 snaps, 12 snaps, 13 snaps a game early. And if he earns more, he earns more. That's my expectation because you don't take snaps away from Reddick unless you absolutely have to.
Right. Yeah. You're going to see what he can do in a limited amount of time, but I agree with you. I think for a lack of a better term, I really think his position is just going to be playmaker. Like where you line him up on the field is going to be all over the place, especially what we hear about Desai and the weird looks that he likes to give. I don't think it's going to be hey, you can always expect Nolan Smith on this side or in this position. And so, yeah, I want to see it because I think he's better at run defense than some people. I know that some people give him some credit, but I think some people knock him in the sense of like, oh, he's a little bit smaller, but his run defense is phenomenal. And so I think that you put him in there on some other downs too of saying, what, line him up as a linebacker potentially, or you can go and do a pass the rusher or rush the passer like you mentioned, or even dropping in coverage. So to me, I mean, the dude tested ridiculously at the combine. Like we all know that his skills, speed, just the ridiculous athleticism. So I think the more you can get him on the field to a certain extent, because like you mentioned, you've got other players that are going to play ahead of him, but still this guy, I really feel like he's going to be a playmaker and he's going to be able to make so many things happen on defense.
I totally agree. Fonzo says who will have the most sacks. I mean, you would think Reddick, Sweat, I don't know.
Reddick says he is, right? Like he tweeted, what did he say? Like this is just the beginning or just getting started or something like that about last year's season. So I'm just saying, take the over. I don't even know what the over is for his sack total, but take it. Is
a very real possibility. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot over there. Scott says, "Let this little jab at Bud Light." Hey, it's not my fault. Sales are down 26%. Not my fault. I'm just saying, not my fault. I didn't do it. Smitty would be good. How do you think that you utilize Nolan's? Oh, we already asked that one. Smitty will have a breakout season. Yeah. Anthony says Davis looked like he lost weight from the pics I saw. Maybe a little bit. Davis is in Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, right? It's very, very hard to say, but we'll see. We'll see overall. All right, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you here on the Wednesday Linc Live every single Wednesday. We'll be back next week, and obviously all of the shows that happen next couple of days and weeks. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. One more shout out for Josh having baby number 2 in January. Very, very exciting. We'll obviously, I'm sure we'll announce the baby name whenever we know the baby name. So who knows?
We will. And the gender when we know the gender.
And the gender when we know the gender. That's right. All right, sub to both shows. Follow, like. We appreciate you guys. Have the rest of your evening. See ya.